Modern professions frequently combine heavy industry with fine aesthetics. A person might spend their morning operating a high-power laser cutter and their afternoon refining the delicate curves of an interior design installation. Traditional astrological systems struggle to classify these overlapping skill sets. When a chart relies on broad, single-planet indicators, it forces a binary choice. The native is either an engineer or an artist. The nuance of a hybrid career is lost. Krishnamurthy Padati, or KP astrology, offers a different approach. It is a rigid, data-driven framework designed for extreme specificity rather than general character traits. Instead of guessing a career path from isolated symbols, the KP protocol calculates strict mathematical intersections between multiple planetary and positional variables to derive an exact vocational profile. To see how this engine works, we will deconstruct horary chart number 6, cast on May 28, 2026. This diagram outlines the two conflicting professional domains we must reconcile in this specific chart. On one side, the heavy physics of mechanical engineering and metallurgy. On the other, the subjective aesthetics of interior design and art. Our objective is to decode the exact nature of this individual's daily work by finding the algorithmic link connecting these two extremes. The primary tool for this derivation is the 10th cusp sublord, or 10th CSL. In the KP system, this specific point in the chart dictates the core foundation of a person's livelihood. Moving past general archetypes and applying this highly specific data model allows us to reverse engineer the precise mechanics of a modern career. The practitioner's workflow begins by isolating that primary pointer, the 10th CSL, within the architecture of horary chart 6. This data flowchart maps our extraction process. The top node represents the 10th CSL, which in this chart yields the value of the planet Mars. Mars carries an established baseline of associations. It signifies raw energy, physical force, fire, base metals, and mechanics. But KP astrology requires us to drill down deeper than the planet itself. We must identify the exact subdivision of the zodiac that Mars occupies, a specific spatial sector known as a star or nakshatra. Checking the coordinates, we find that Mars is placed within the star of Ashwini, located in the sign of Aries. Ashwini is ruled by the node Ketu, and sitting inside a Mars-ruled sign like Aries, it generates a highly aggressive physical energetic profile. When we pull the raw data for this planetary and star combination, it populates a specific list of associated fields. The highlighted vectors point heavily toward mechanical engineering, metallurgy, and railway architecture. We now have strong mathematical indicators for a career involving metal and machines. However, a list of broad engineering fields is still too vague to pinpoint the exact daily reality of the individual's job. The 10th CSL and its occupied star provide the raw materials of the profession. They dictate the heavy physical environment, but they do not tell us how those materials are applied. To find the application, we move to the next mandatory step in the KP sequence, identifying the planetary ruler of that occupied star, known as the Star Lord. Tracing the data flow downward from Ashwini, we identify its Star Lord as Ketu. The Star Lord acts as the ultimate filter. Its physical location within the chart dictates exactly how the raw mechanical energy of Mars will manifest in the real world. We find Ketu's exact geometric location in horary chart 6 here, sitting in the 5th bhava. In Vedic astrology, a bhava, or house, represents a specific domain of human life. The 5th house governs domains completely separate from the heavy industrial metrics we pulled from Mars. Extracting the raw list of domains for the 5th house reveals a focus on artistic talents, mechanical art, and design. The 5th house data injects elements of aesthetic design, recreation, and creativity directly into our previously industrial profile. The central analytical challenge is now clear. We must mathematically reconcile the rigid, heavy engineering data generated by Mars with the fluid, aesthetic data generated by the 5th house. We resolve this through data intersection. We treat the two astrological variables, the star significations and the house significations, as overlapping sets in a strict formula. This Venn diagram displays our two opposing datasets prior to synthesis. Iron and engineering on the left, art and aesthetics on the right. We process the data by elimination, discarding any profession that fails to satisfy both sides of the equation. A surgeon utilizes metal tools, but lacks the fifth house requirement for art. A cinema director fulfills the artistic requirement, but lacks the Mars metallurgy requirement. Executing the final calculation yields the precise overlap between these two domains. We generate a short list of highly specific hybrid professions that balance both sets of criteria. Option 1 stands out as the tightest mathematical fit: mechanical art, design, interiors, and furniture. This option perfectly balances the heavy materials dictated by Mars with the creative, spatial applications demanded by the fifth house. KP Astrology computes the exact intersection of physical materials and environmental application. With the derivation complete, we can test our theoretical data model against the physical reality of the subject's life. This exact case file details the definitive, documented career of the individual. The record states, this native is an interior designer having his own furniture factory, using steel and copper to do mechanical design and art in big factories and offices. The ownership of a furniture factory and the daily manipulation of steel and copper map directly to the Mars and Ashwini metallurgical indicators. Simultaneously, the role of interior designer and the creation of mechanical art map perfectly back to the fifth bhava's artistic indicators. The end result is an elegant hybrid profession that operates exactly at the precise cross-section calculated by the system. A broad, ancient planetary symbol was successfully distilled down into a highly specialized modern commercial enterprise. Accurate modern vocational profiling demands that we discard isolated readings. By applying KP Astrology's rigorous, multi-layered intersection model, we see that inside the apparent chaos of modern career paths, there is absolute structural logic.